All right. I want to tell you, yesterday I saw something that was one of the most horrifying things I have ever seen because I am a visual guy. I just wrote a book on propaganda, and I saw something I thought I would never see. Now, the left and the media has told Donald Trump over and over again to turn down his rhetoric. I have to tell you, one of the reasons why I think Donald Trump is doing so well is because he's become a happy warrior. He's not engaging in the kind of rhetoric that gets people killed. Okay. But they continue to say he's got to turn down the rhetoric. He's going to get somebody killed. Well, they are doing so poorly in the polls. You can tell the wheels are coming off of that campaign at record speed. Okay. Because of things like this, I want to play the full statement coming from Kamala Harris and show you why this is so bad and different than everything else that you have seen.
So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him.
Stop. Okay. Let's just dissect this for a second. Just what she's saying. We'll get to the rest in a minute. What she's saying is that General Kelly, a guy who I believe Trump fired, so has a bone with Donald Trump. They don't like each other at all. Experienced this and is just now, a week and a half before this election, decided to come out with this statement. Believable? No, not in my opinion. These generals were not loyal to the president of the United States. They take an oath to be loyal to the Constitution of the United States, and they can reject anything the president says if it goes against the Constitution. In fact, we are one of the only countries that insists on loyalty to the Constitution and insists there's no such thing as I was only following orders. Because in our military, you have the responsibility to stand up, to know the Constitution, know what you're fighting for, know what's going on, and stand against it. But you don't sabotage. Now, Kelly, if that actually happened, Kelly is discrediting himself from the beginning. Because if that had happened, he should have gone in front of the American people immediately. But he didn't. So I don't believe this in the first place because I don't believe General Kelly's word. I just don't. Now, did you notice what she said? That General Kelly said, and there's no corroborating evidence of this. If anything was said like this, I would believe that Donald Trump did not say like Hitler had. I would say he was wondering why the military wasn't following his commands. And if it was unconstitutional, then they should have said something that it was unconstitutional. But that's not Hitler. That is following the commander-in-chief. And in Donald Trump's case, something happened in his first term that I've never seen before. They were sabotaging him. He would say, we're going this way with our foreign policy, and the State Department and generals in the Pentagon were sabotaging that. They were calling our allies and our foes and saying, don't worry about it. That's not been done before. Now, she not only says what General Kelly said, that he wants generals, but then she's adding the commentary on why he said that. She said, he said that because he wanted people to disregard the Constitution, not loyal to the Constitution, but loyal to him. Now, is that a fact? Even if the first part of that statement is true, how do you assign his thoughts and feelings? Because Donald Trump would have denied, even if it was true, he would have denied he said that. We know it's not true, or at least I strongly suspect it's not true. And Donald Trump would know that wouldn't be a good thing, so he would never say, well, this is why. So she's mixing fact with opinion. And I'll tell you why that's so dangerous in this case here in just a second. Go ahead.
Military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally. One that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution.
Stop. When has he ever said he was president before? You could have gotten away with this, with Hillary. But we've seen him for 4 years. When has he ever said, break your oath to the Constitution? Go get citizens and round them up. He's never said that. Ever. If you know the truth about January 6th, he was the guy saying you should have troops if you need. Get the National Guard. I'm telling you, this is January 4th, I'm telling you, I think you need the National Guard there at the Capitol building. Now, at first they said that he never said that until it was proven. And then they turned that into, see, he wanted military to help out. Yet, not to help out the bad guys. Why would he be suggesting that to Nancy Pelosi? Not to help out the bad guys, but to protect the Constitution and our social order. So they try to have it both ways. She's treading very dangerous territory here. Listen.
Abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the...
What does he mean by that? The enemy from within. Well, you know who else said that? Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln. In fact, let me quote Abraham Lincoln, because I just looked it up today for something in my journal. If a country founded on the principle as pure as freedom can be destroyed, it will be through suicide. That's the enemy within. And quite honestly, in some ways, that's all of us, because we have forgotten who we are. And one reason is because the enemy within has failed to teach us who we are, and in fact, has changed our history so much that our kids are confused. They have no idea who an enemy is because they think the government itself, our Constitution, is a triggering document, and the enemy itself is the government. I think we could all agree, even the left, because they may say, I'm the enemy within. We can all agree that there are forces in this country that would like to tear us apart. There are those in America, both left and right, who actually believe in the Bill of Rights, that do not want to tear us apart. That is not the enemy within. Even if we disagree how we get there, how we return to the Bill of Rights, even if we disagree, if we agree with the Bill of Rights, you're on the right side. Go ahead.
From within. And even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens.
Stop. Why did he say that? He didn't say go after American citizens. If the country is on fire, this is what he said on January 4th. If there is a riot, we have to put it down. So use the National Guard. And if it's so big, use the military if you have to. Okay? Now, Does that cross posse comitatus? I'm not sure. But you know who will fight against posse comitatus? Who say, you can't do that, Mr. President? Anyone who reveres the Constitution. Because our military has to obey, they've sworn an oath to the Constitution. And I think those guys are the only ones. I'm talking about the actual soldiers, not the people high up at the Pentagon. Those are the only people that actually look at their oath and take it as a sacred oath. Go ahead.
Citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within. Anyone who refuses to bend a knee or dares to criticize him.
It's a lie.
Stop.
It's a lie.
I got to tell you, he has been around and spoken openly to and would just like to be treated with respect. I'm thinking about the black journalist in Chicago. He went to talk to them openly. He wasn't hostile to them. They came out of the chute hostile. Now, who is the one that is trying to put Elon Musk possibly behind bars? They are now saying that Elon Musk may need to go to federal prison. He was the darling of the left until he began to disagree with them. Who else is trying to put people in jail merely for disagreeing with them? Well, Donald Trump. Gabby Giffords, she was called a Russian asset. Oh, not called Gabby Giffords, sorry, Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know why I keep calling her Gabby Giffords.
The names, the last name is
Tulsi
similar.
Gabbard.
Mm-hmm.
She's an enemy now that was working for the Russians. You have person after person. Robert F. Kennedy, an icon of that party, destroyed forever because he dare say the king has no clothes. So which one is trying to destroy their enemies? Which one? It's clear.
Can we also discuss how much of a lie this is that she's saying? There was a conversation they're referring to where he said the problem is the enemy within, and we may use the National Guard or maybe even the military. She's saying it's people who disagree with him, judges, lawyers. She lists several examples there of people that he's going to target in this way. The conversation is clear. What they are talking about is people who cause chaos across the country on election day. Maria Bartiromo brings up, hey, what happens if the left causes all sorts of chaos if you win? He says they're talking about murderers, rapists, terrorists that have come across the border. He says those people are bad, but I think maybe the bigger problem are the radical left lunatics who might do that stuff here, and we might need to bring the National Guard. He's not talking about everyone who disagrees with him. He's talking about people who are trying to overthrow the government on election day. Again, this thing that the left has been saying they didn't want all of this time.
Right. Now, these are the same people. Kamala Harris is the one who fought for the riots on the streets for BLM. She supported it and said they shouldn't stop, and they should never stop even after the election. She was the one that was bailing people out if they were involved in these riots. So we know she doesn't have a problem with riots, but I believe the American people, both left and right, do have a problem with that. Now, why is this beyond the pale here? Why has this stepped over a line? Well, propaganda wars. Can we bring that image back up on the screen and just freeze it, put it in a box and freeze it for me? In case you happen to be watching this program on Blaze TV. Or Pluto, thank you for watching Pluto as well. Let me explain why this is so dangerous. Now, one, they always telegraph what they're going to do or who they are. And I'm going to get into that deeply in about 5 minutes, so stand by. But I want to show you this image for a reason. First of all, when you see two microphones like that, Stu, what do you think? Those particular two microphones. You've never noticed?
No.
I've only seen those used by the President of the United States or by a vice president. Okay, that microphone setup is unlike any other setup I've ever seen with microphones. Okay, that is the system that is connected to those podiums that travel with the president, and it's always those two microphones. Underneath it is the seal of the vice president of the United States. To her, let's see, that would be her left. It is the flag of the vice president of the United States, which resembles, except it's white, not blue, it resembles the presidential seal. Then you have the American flag, and behind her you have a White House. Now, it's not the White House, but your average schlub will think that's the White House. So why is this important? This is important because this does not appear to be a campaign statement. This does not appear to be her opinion. This appears as a presidential or vice presidential or official government finding. Okay? Now, some will say she's violating the Hatch Act. I'm not sure that that's right. I've got to call into a couple of people today because some people say that she and the president can violate that because of their office without the penalties. I'm not sure if that's true or not. It very well may be. I'm not worried about the violation of the Hatch Act. I am telling you right now that this presidential or vice presidential trapping was selected for a reason, to carry extra weight, not to the average person, but to those on the very far left that are susceptible to this kind of propaganda. And this kind of propaganda is for two reasons. Scare the voters that are with you. Come on, we need you to go out and vote. This is not for the independent. This is for their base. Go out and vote. This man's dangerous. But it is also a message for after the election.